Hey, this is Noah, voice of V-Man. That's Vamok for all of you that aren't in the inn. Anyway, thanks for dropping by for another installment of Rift Walkers. Okay, this one's got thrills, it's got chills, it's got everything up and down the wazoo. Before we get into it, make sure you check out our website, flashfantasypodcast.com. Also, if you're not, start following us on Twitter, @FlashFantasy. We post updates about the show. We got all the good content up there. Also, join our Discord, come say hi, alright? We're on there. And also, make sure you tell your friends about us, because if you don't tell your friends, you're doing them a disservice, you're doing yourself a disservice, so make us proud. Here's Riftwalkers.
Having outmaneuvered the Magisters and sent Morden to a different plane of existence along with Leirotz's tavern, all crumbling down in a tearful explosion and send-off, the group of Rolandir, Bartholomew, Mick, Vamok, Val, Brinier, Katagas, and Luna set off to the east toward Mainstay. Right now, you're just padding along a snow-swept road. Dirt beneath your feet, packed snow to the sides. A light breeze kind of shuffles through trees that dot the sides of this path as you head back to the main road and onward and eastward. For the most part, you're alone. Though, as different travelers pass you by, you do start to hear muffled conversation about some sort of commotion, a ruckus of who knows what that happened at a small inn just off the road to Bastion.
Can Val seeming all of us so that we look like a group of Americ traders?
Yes.
Okay. I won't seeming Mick, though, since Mick is perfectly capable of disguising himself.
I'll get the hint that I should be Americ.
How tall are Americ people?
They're short.
That might be kind of tough to pull
No,
off.
well, seeming can make you seem shorter.
Yeah.
I thought it was only like a foot, though.
Okay,
You'd still
yeah,
be 5
but
feet. You'd still be good.
yeah,
I
like
think so.
how tall are you? 6'6" or something? 6'7"?
6'9".
Oh, you're 6'9". Okay, you'll be a tall American guy, but you'll be under 6 foot. So
Yeah, you'll be 5'9". You can do a foot.
yeah.
Sweet.
But eye contact people will be looking at like your sternum.
Oh, so this entire time you can only do a foot of change in height?
Yeah.
So this entire time, Bartholomew has just been a really short fellish man.
Yes.
Like an abnormally short, 4.5 foot tall fellish man.
With the hand coming.
Should have been Americ.
Well, Bartholomew starts to practice his Americ accent. You just hear him in the background. He says, "And now, my friend, I am so glad to be with you."
Bartholomew, I think that you should just call it quits.
What are you talking about? I don't really think I was getting it.
Okay, you might be getting it, but you're getting it very loudly.
No, I think he's getting it just fine, Val. Look, see those people coming towards us? I think you should go strike up a conversation with them.
No.
That's an excellent idea. Bartholomew goes to do that. Now, how are you doing, my friends?
Oh, my goodness.
How are you doing, my friends?
I like the little, like extra words and syllables that you have.
It's me, Bartholomew.
It's a me.
These two, they seem to be Demlik travelers, don't even stop as you say something to them, and they murmur to each other in Lickish and then continue on, kind of chuckling to themselves, ignoring you.
It was an absolute pleasure to meet you. It was an absolute pleasure to meet you.
Val puts his face in his hand.
And Rolandir pats him on the back and just says, "Next time. You'll get them next time." I think they really believed it. They were just in a bad mood.
Nah, it happens a lot, honestly. It's just...
Brinier actually chuckles hearing what the Liku said, and he just kind of keeps walking.
So, at this current pace, walking from basically Bastion to Mainstay.
Yeah, give us some reference for this one. Are we talking like 300 feet or like?
Are we talking days or months?
Yeah, is there like a traveling wagon train we could join or anything?
It'd probably take you about half a month to walk at a constant pace without any breaks or sleeping.
Bartholomew is just kind of looking at everyone walking, and he's sort of says to him, "Now, as my grandpappy always said, a good walk never hurt nobody. But it is my understanding that Mainstay is a month's journey easily from here on foot. I don't mind a walk, but do we have that kind of time? I'm not really sure what we need to be there for? Do we want to go faster? Should we try to find horses or something? I know of a couple of farms I saw wandering in here that might be interested in trading if anyone has any money or something.
I have money and we should go fast, yeah.
As I said, there are faster routes and ways. You just ask, and I'll make it happen.
That sounds very cryptic.
Oh, it is. Just trust me.
Well, that's my good old friend Mickey. I trust him indubitably.
What can you do to make us go faster?
Well, I'll show you. And I cast Windwalk on all of us. And I assume that all of us are willing creatures.
Yes.
And then each of you notice that from your toes and up your body, you start to take on a gaseous form. And we start to levitate in the air all together.
All right. As everyone transforms under the effects of Windwalk into these cloud forms, your speed then goes to, from about 4 miles an hour to 35 miles an hour.
Heck yeah.
It's 1,000 miles from Bastion to Mainstay, basically.
Ooh.
At this speed, it would take us like 28 to 29 hours.
Sweet.
All right, well then for 8 hours, if you want to keep this effect going, you can fly just this entire day, zipping across the plains of the Midwestern Fell Kingdom, over these wooded lands and these snow-swept hills, and that's about a third of your journey as this first day comes to an end and the sun sets.
Crushing it, Mick.
You've traveled around, 300 miles.
Wicked.
Dang. At this rate, we can get there like on the eve of the 4th day or something, or the afternoon.
Bartholomew, just as a clarified point of canon, Bartholomew's little cloud that he appeared as looked like a small dwarf with 2 arms outstretched.
In his normal position, of course. Flying
Or it at least made us
position.
think it looked like that.
Any child who saw it flying across the sky thought that.
They were terrified, thinking it was going to steal them. Anyways, as we transform back into ourselves at the end of this first day, after 8 hours of flying, Rolandier lands upon the ground and kind of instinctively actually goes to pull a mask or something off of his face, wanting to light a fire, and then realizing he doesn't have a mask, starts to just gather some various fire-making materials to start a little campsite off the side of the road.
Bartholomew is currently gathering wild vegetables and fungi and legumes.
If you had Lyrian with you, he could have had all this done already.
Favored terrain.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
I guess Vamak will get a campfire going, if nobody else is.
Rolandier walks up to it and just drops all his wood.
Oh, I was not paying attention. Rolandier's over here trying to, twist the stick in his hands, and Vamak will just, come in and give it a little magic, a little prestidigitation to make it light.
Are we concerned about using intent being tracked at all right now?
That would have been a good concern to have about 8 hours ago.
Well, technically, it isn't intent. I'm actually using old world magic. What I knew before I came to this world. But that is a good point to bring up.
No, I could start a fire by magical means. I could create tents out of nothing by magical means. I just don't want to do that if you're concerned.
Then let's just do it the old-fashioned way. I like making a fire as much as the next person. Which is not very much, but I can do it.
As the fire's already going.
Yeah.
I think for the time being, we should do everything in our power to avoid using intent wherever we are, until we at least get into Mainstay's borders.
And it's winter. It's cold. This is going to be a freezing night.
Maybe we should rethink our decision not to use intent.
Unless anyone packed their crap before destroying the inn.
No, our stuff got fully obliterated.
Well, I think we can assume that no one had tents easily packed or open, as we had been based out of this inn for a long time. So it's unlikely that we're appropriately prepared.
Cad speaks up and he says, "It would not be advisable, but I think we'll have to resort to it tonight just to make it through. And perhaps before we set off, if we're going to do," he just kind of motions toward Mick, "whatever that was, again tomorrow, it might be wise to stop by a nearby town and resupply."
I agree. I can make us shelter. I will spend the next 10 minutes fabricating an igloo out of the ice and snow.
Okay.
Is Bartholomew back at this point?
I mean, it's winter. He's probably only going to find tubers if there are any. So he's probably looking pretty hard. But yeah, I'd say, after an hour or two, he gets back. I mean, if we'd only been walking for an hour and we left early morning, and we only flew 8 hours, it's probably only like 5 p.m. or something.
As Bartholomew was walking back up, carrying his measly rations that he had foraged in the woods, Rolandir kind of chuckles a bit, and then he reaches out his hand near the shelter that has been fabricated by Val, and there just starts to appear these barrels full of food and these jugs with water that are fabricated, nicely placed on the icy ground. He's using Create Food and Water, which
Heck
creates
yeah.
45 pounds of food and 30 gallons of water.
Dane.
As Bartholomew returns with like half of a dead potato and some wild sweetgrass.
His fingers bloody and cold.
Well, Bartholomew, upon seeing this food appear, Bartholomew he looks at Rolandir and he says, "That might be the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Thank you, sir." And he's going to start looking through. He throws away the half of a dead potato and the sweetgrass. That's gone. Throws that away, and he starts digging through to see if he can find, is this food already prepared and edible, or is it raw goods that need to be prepared?
It says it just says it's enough food to sustain up to 15 humanoids, 5 steeds for 24 hours. The food is bland but nourishing and spoils of fun eaten after 24 hours. I'm assuming it's probably food that doesn't necessarily need to be cooked.
It's like manna.
Bland but nourishing. Okay, upon seeing what food is in it, Bartholomew's he sees it and he kind of looks at it and he's like, "Nah, we can do something with this. Don't you worry." But he goes back to grab the sweetgrass that he left behind to spice it up a bit,
You can spend the evening preparing a meal for everyone.
which he does.
As Bartholomew is making the meal, Brynjar approaches him and says, Bartholomew, I'm glad that you are with us, but I know that in the first place, you are only with us to gain money to find your son.
And that is true, yes. Are you asking me why?
I believe any of us would continue to welcome you, but I know how it is to have other goals in mind. So, I guess, yes, I would like to know why you are staying.
Well, really, I'd say there's a couple of reasons. One, pretty much any hope I had of making money died with that in there. Not sure you could have noticed this, because I know mine is pretty good, but not quite as good as disguising myself as I could be. Makes it a bit harder, I'd say, to interact. I really need to find people a little bit farther away from society to manage much. However, with Val here, it seems like I can I can be accepted. I'd say y'all are very accepted. And I appreciate that. I really do. And that's true. I still do want to find my son. It is still really the most important thing. But I have no leads, have no knowledge, have no idea where he could be. And if you all are traveling, finding people, talking to new people, it's really something that I think it can only help me. And to be frank, I think y'all need me. I think y'all have seen a lot of things. I've seen a weight behind Val, seen a weight behind Rolandir. That Luna, she's like a storm cloud when she enters a room. She's seen some things, been through some things that, I don't know, I think maybe having someone who just isn't like that, who isn't in that situation, might be a help and a blessing to y'all, and I figure for now, maybe, I can be that.
Well, if you're willing to brave the dangers of our adventures, you'll always be welcome with open arms here.
And I appreciate that, I really do, Brynjar. Now here, take this, and he hands him some of the porridge that was filling those barrels. Bland but nutritious. And he had chopped up a little bit of sweetgrass as if it were something. If you let that sit for about 5 minutes, it'll really take that to the next level. It'll add just a touch of earthy sweetness, almost like a sugar beet. You ever had a sugar beet? I won't bother you.
Brynjar takes the bowl, and then he just motions to Bartholomew, just like he holds his hands up, like, oh, just a little more, as he holds the bowl towards him again.
Another dollop on there.
Across the camp, then, Luna sits kind of just fidgeting, digging in the dirt with her feet.
Okay. Val will approach her very carefully and then realize that he probably shouldn't sneak up on her and sort of like clear his throat.
She looks up at you.
Hello.
Hi.
Are you alright?
Yeah?
That was a stupid question. I made another thing. This is not going very well. He will sort of like produce from behind him another horse figure to match the first, but this one is Luna colored. So it has sort of like a pale coat and then straw colored mane.
She gives a little chuckle and she's like, Val, you don't have to do this.
I want to.
She takes the horse regardless, and it's like, but it's nice. I'm sorry, I don't have anything for you.
No, it's not. That is not why. If you would like me to stop, I will.
No, I grew up alone in Bastion. I think I've told you this already, but I lived on the streets. I fended for myself. I was always looking over my shoulder, always watching my own back. There were a few throughout the years that I may have considered friends, but those who I actually grew close to, barring Cad, they're all gone now, and a part of me thinks it's my fault. A lot of me knows it's my fault, and it would just be better if, I don't know, no one tried.
Luna, though the quality of my solitude was different from yours, I also grew up alone. I had no friends, I had no peers, really. I had my parents, but they ignored me for the most part, and then when I made enough noise to force them to pay attention to me, they never let me leave the house. And, well, you are talking to the person who blamed himself so much for the deaths of his friends that he no longer remembers them because he traded that away.
I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to be condescending or anything of that sort. I was just saying how I felt. And I am sorry for what happened. Cad helped me get my memories back, and I don't know, maybe something similar could still happen for you.
I also did not mean to sound condescending. I don't wish to compare tragedies, just express that in some fashion I do empathize with you.
No, I appreciate that. Besides, if we're going up tragedy to tragedy, she just points in Cad's direction, who's kind of going across the camp. Seems like he's walking toward Vamok. I think he beats us all out. Flashing over to Katagas, who comes to a stop beside Vamok, who is standing solitary at the edge of the camp, peering out into the snow and the forests. Cad just comes up beside him, stops. He doesn't say anything until Vamok does.
Kadagas, I have a question for you.
I imagined you did.
Intent. How many people on Egadon use it?
The entire Elfkin population, such as myself, is able to use intent. Some more rudimentary than the others. This, older general friend of yours, well, actually, I guess not yours, but this group's. Before you came along, before I came along, I'm told he didn't use intent often, but used it specifically and skillfully. That's the kind of intent that most Elfkin wield. Very simple forms. Whether that be lighting your sword aflame or simply mopping the floor. Many of the Elfkin specialize in the usage of intent, mostly with a military eye. And then, of course, there are the Elveret, who have their own system of things. And then there's what you are now, a Mazkin, natural wielders of the elemental powers. Look at your arm, your hand. You see those scars? Some may call them strange, ugly even. I wouldn't pay them any heed. It's a gift from Maz, your patron god. Well, the Mazkin's patron god. I can't speak for you personally. Within those cuts and scars are channels of intent, where you can more easily access those prime elemental powers of Egadon. That rounds out the kin side of things. And then you have humans, of course. The Fellfolk, the people of Demlik, and the Tales. They can all use intent, some marginally better than others. But they are not bound to Egadon as we kin are, so they must perform what's called detachment, a series of mental exercises to separate their consciousness, or at least part of it, from their bodies, to be able to link to that weave of essence that permeates through everything here. And then, of course, you have the Ymer, but they can't use intent. Neither can the Sanguine.
These races, why can they not use intent?
The Ymer, I guess, just got the short end of the stick when coming to humans. As for their mythology goes, I can't put it down perfectly, or I'd say rather eloquently, but in a succinct manner. Sereth, the ethereal of work and diligence, Luna's father, in other words, attempted to create humans and failed miserably. He was then forbidden by his father and siblings from using the essence of the world or his own to create a being. So he drew from that wellspring where all creation came from, the void, and crafted humans. Sanguine I can't speak to, quite honestly. I've only met a handful. Reclusive beings they are. I think your friend Rolandia may have a better intuition as to Sindor's disposition toward them, but I do know they wield quite some power over the blood of living things. And then, of course, you have the Kralee, which I wouldn't be surprised if you'd never heard of them. Nor many people, to be honest. I've never met another living soul that's interacted with them, and I've never even told Luna of their existence. They live in small colonies, in seas and oceans, in the Central Fell, hidden away from the rest of the world, cut off from essence. I'm unsure if the Ethereals had any part in their creation. I'm unsure if anything we know about creation is true, but... Vale's body. I couldn't tell you.
What do you imagine would happen if there were no intent? Would the humans and the kin remain at war as they do? Undoubtedly, it seems that intent is quite convenient for many things. Convenient to help clean the house, but also convenient to help wage war. As you have said, many in the Kinlands study for the express purpose of combat, and I imagine it is much the same for the humans, as we have seen with the Magisters.
Very true. Humans, through diligence, can become quite skilled in intent. Some more than kin. It's the only reason that I haven't gained the upper hand. Though, this ongoing war, I don't see a reason for it. And perhaps if intent were gone, it would cease. But perhaps not. Perhaps it isn't over magic or power or anything that we fight each other. It's simply nature.
So it is simply in the nature of beings to fight with each other. I have been weighing in my mind for some time what would be the ideal situation for Egadon. I believe Tentaver's grasp on me is getting stronger. I find myself wondering more and more about what is best for this world. I thought perhaps it would be simply to get rid of the humans and the kin, the Sanguine and the Kralee, and all other things, but I do not believe that is a good solution.
What would you do afterward, then? Wipe the slate clean and simply start anew? How would you avoid the failings of those that came before you?
Exactly. It is, as I said, not a viable option. Far too many problems and far too much bloodshed. But if there were a way to stop the bloodshed, that would be an improvement. However, unless we could magically get rid of intent, I do not see a way that dispensing of conflict and contention would be possible. As you suggested, it may be in people's nature to fight. And where there is power, there will be corruption. There will be good and bad. Perhaps the bad would be lessened. Would it not be a good thing if there were fewer Magister Mordens in the world? Those using their power to oppress those who have none. It would be an even playing field for all. But I would be a fool to believe that getting rid of intent would cause people to lay down their arms, lay down centuries of prejudice.
I've always fought, Vermark, for a different viewpoint. Val and I are quite similar in this regard, though I don't know him as well as I'd like to. I imagine we hold similar ideals, though I've just spent a century or two longer ruminating on them, practicing them. There was, of course, that small stint of where I was dead. But, Yeah, he just kind of waves his hand away. Didn't change much about me. So yes, perhaps one day we can learn. And I think that's the key word, learn. You cannot force someone to love their enemy. But whatever progress you wish to see will take time. And unfortunately, more time than you will be on this planet, breathing this air and enacting this change. So you will have to change someone else to carry on with your task. That, and he just motions over his shoulder, is my hope with Luna.
Interesting.
And if I fail, and she falls into the same cycle of hatred and destruction that permeates the rest of her race, then, well, he just pats Vamok on his back as he starts to turn and walk away. She doesn't know it, but she could kill us all in an instant.
That is what troubles me the most. Thank you, Kadagas. You have given me much to think about.
And Vamok just starts staring out into the cold night.
I'll just take a small opportunity before we go to bed. Mick is by the fire, just kind of staring into the embers, and sees Rolandier to their side, or kind of just walking around, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah,
Is
he's
that
just
accurate?
checking things, kind of getting ready for the night.
Cool. So Mick motions to Rolandier and speaks to him and says, "You miss it, don't you?"
I'm sorry, what was that?
I saw what you did. You reached for your mask earlier.
And he actually had kind of forgotten about that. It was very purely out of instinct he had done it, and he comes and sits down next to Mick. Yes, you saw that. I don't know what it was, honestly. Like I said, day by day, week by week, month by month, my very memory of any time in a world other than Egadon fades away, but there seems to be certain things that stick around. Anyways, how are you adjusting to all of this? I mean, I think we've gone quite a few different directions with all our different goals of merely tackling to understand what these Valors were, to taking on the aspects, and who knows what we're doing now. But I think we sometimes get a bit carried away in all that.
No, I mean, to be frank, I guess I'm just trying to keep up with all the changes. You know, I've moved around frequently throughout my life, but nothing quite like this. You know, I think of the potential of even me becoming a godborn, such as yourself. And I must say, I kind of shudder at the idea. I don't know if I could truly get used to being someone else than who I am. You follow?
I find that funny coming from you, of all people, quite honestly.
I find it funny hearing it from my own mouth, too. But the fact of the matter is, I like my abilities. Of course, you as a godborn have many new advanced abilities and new changes. Quite exciting, if I do have to say myself. But it'll be interesting having those kind of changes. That's a whole new reality accepted into your identity now.
Honestly, there's no words for what it's like to have every fiber of your being taken away and then rebuilt in something new. If things go according to plan, I'm sure you will find out for yourself in due time. But in the meantime, I must say I am slightly concerned about our trip into Mainstay. I think we could be walking out of what was the frying pan with Morden and into the fire. We have magisters abound. The college itself is sure to be perhaps part haven, part prison if they find out what we can do. And I hope by that point, that sword of yours and whatever else we may have that can enchant them or distract them will be more than helpful.
Very true. Curious that you suggested it, but I suppose it is our only viable option. You know, Rolandier, we spoke a while ago of how I could help greater in the mission, and I hope that you keep me in mind going forward with this plan.
I do. As a matter of fact, I've been giving quite a bit of thought to who and how we can strengthen our numbers. And while I agree it's wise to better our equipment, get it imbued with intent, as Famak is so keen on doing, I still believe wholly our greatest power lies in our people and who we have with us. And I think that means we need to get more in line with the deity who have sponsored my transformation, that of Val, that of Amok, And that will ultimately fall upon you. And if you haven't already, perhaps give some thought to which being you could align yourself with. I fear for Vamak, Tentavir perhaps is a bit too different from his own nature, and there could be some conflict that comes there. So, do as you will, but know that whatever you choose, we will support you.
An interesting proposal. Thank you, Rolandia. This has been an enlightening conversation. Well, I do believe I need my rest, but thank you.
Of course. And Rolandir gets back up and begins spreading for bed.
Before Mick dozes off, Luna actually comes down and kneels beside them and says, Mick,
Luna, yes. What's this matter?
I had an idea. You remember what happened to Val, of course.
I don't know what you're referring to specifically, but I'm going to say in general, yes.
the many laundry lists of trauma.
I know.
What hasn't happened to Val?
Well, I just mean most recently with his forgotten Ephron and his family.
So many others. Yes. I do remember that.
I can't repair that, and I can't think of a way to bring his family back or his mentor. But your sword, it holds your memories, doesn't it?
That it does, Luna.
Your time with Ephron, your time with Lerots, these people meant something to him. Perhaps, if you just let him hold it, he can see them one more time. I'm not sure what it will spark, if anything, but I don't know. It might be a mercy, at least.
It's worth a try. I mean, we're kind of at square one with Val. Yes, I agree to this.
She nods and then, gets to her feet, helps you up if you so deem necessary.
Oh, I deem necessary. Thank you, Luna.
Charmed, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And leads you over to Val, who just on the edge of camp. And Luna clears her throat as she approaches Val. It's like, Val, Mick and I had an idea. And then she defers to Mick.
Yes, we collectively had an idea. Here's the idea. I have a magical rapier, as you know, that, well, stores my memory from the time that I've come to own it. Our idea is that you can hold it and remember all those who have fallen. Of course, I have my stories and songs that tell the story of them, but nothing can truly encapsulate the memory of them than what the sword can possess. Here, take this.
Val reaches toward it and then kind of shies back and then sort of looks between Luna and Mick and says,
But what's wrong? Do you not want the memories?
I don't know. I do. I feel that I probably want them more than anything, but they frighten me.
If it's any consolation, I guess they won't actually be yours.
That's true.
So these are things that you've, in one way or another, never really lost.
That's true.
He'll give Luna like a firm nod and take the sword.
As the sword leaves Mick's grip and enters Val's, you are encompassed in a vision that lasts both a split second and as long as you will it. You start, of course, on the poop deck of a ship in a roiling storm as lightning cracks overhead and bursts of thunder rock the splintered wood of this shipwreck. Yourself and clothes matted with rain as your form of Mick then runs down this gangplank and into the mid-deck where you see Val, yourself, maybe a month younger, and an American man.
What do you see?
Oh my gosh, is this the scene where they're hugging?
Yeah! And they had a tender moment and then I interrupted
That was
it.
when they very first became friends.
And these memories progress all throughout the time of, Vale's domain, and then in that of Sindur, and then the time in the cathedral afterward, back to Threshold, the Western Fell, the Kinlands, the war. All this time, you see yourself, you see Lerots, and you see Ephron. Though you know their names, everything beneath the surface still eludes you. Though you do see them. You laugh with them, you speak with them, you eat with them, until you're in a catacomb. Deep, winding tunnels blue, shadowy hues splayed across the walls as a gelatinous mass swallows another familiar face, a Mazkin woman, and Leirotes, taking them away before, not long after, Ephron, wounded, crippled, sacrifices himself to destroy a great monstrosity beneath the Mazkin monastery. And you watch as you transport the rest of the group safely out. And that's where these figures cease to be a part of these memories. And everything afterward is still fresh in your mind.
I think actually he is very curious to see himself, because he's watching himself from the outside, and so he can now sort of empirically see the changes that he has undergone from Vale's realm to now. And so I think he'll stick in there until the end of the memories because he's very curious what he looks like from outside now.
And you can basically, go back and forth as you wish. Basically just snapshot Val in that midship the first time that Mick sees him with the dagger, or with the new sword, to a second ago where Mick handed you the blade. You see the lines of your face, the tiniest bit of stubble on your chin, the broadness of your shoulders, how you've changed, how you've physically changed. And you can feel underneath, of course, what else went on in all that time. But I think it's safe to say that after becoming Godborn, between now and then, Val looks a little taller, a little broader, more gaunt. The colors kind of faded from your hair, from your eyes, and from your complexion. And all around, weight seems to hang from your form in its current state. Between now and then, when there was still some vibrance to your relative youth in Vale's domain in the midship of a rainy storm.
Coming out of the memories, Val very carefully passes the sword back to Mick. There's something tugging at the back of my mind of something that someone told me, someone you never met, and cannot show me, about the price that we pay. And I don't think I ever really saw it before. Thank you for allowing me that trip through your memories, through your mind. I appreciate it. I don't know that these people are recoverable to me, but if I might look at them again, if I want.
Val, you never have to ask, of course, and you will probably hear about them for the remainder of your life, if I'm being honest.
I wouldn't have it any other way. I think he kind of takes a step back, sighing a little bit.
As Val kind of retreats, Luna grabs onto both Mick's hand and Val's hand and just gives them both a kind of reassuring squeeze and flashes a smile between the two of you. And then she nods warmly and bids you goodnight and goes off to another part of the camp to settle down.
Mick returns the favor and says, "Good night, Luna," and then immediately looks back at Val in his eyes and gives him a little nod and a smirk and walks back to camp.
Val will give sort of a very small, sad smile to Mick and nod. And I think he needs to just sort of sit for a little bit and process everything that he just watched. And then he'll get up and return to the camp after a moment.
After an absolutely delightful flight, good conversation with Bernier, just feeling really well, Bartholomew kind of stops and he looks around the camp, and he feels a heavy spirit just permeating the camp, and everyone seems not necessarily upset, but, just heavy thoughts, some sad, some just profound. And he takes it upon himself to solve what he foresees as a problem, but maybe people don't agree with him. And he goes individually to everyone, and he just offers a small sip of a potion to everyone, just saying, "Nah, just take this for a little bit. I think it'll help." Does anyone reject his offer?
Mick says, "Now, Barty, this better not be one of those forget-me potions, if you follow."
I would never.
Alrighty.
And he gives a reassuring smile and pat on the shoulder, which, unless you are sitting down or laying down, is really a pat like mid-forearm.
What is it?
Just something to help you sleep.
Brynjar will take it, I guess.
Mick takes it.
Val will drink it.
Rolandir happily takes it.
Oh, Vamak will take it. He doesn't mind.
Luna and Cad will as well.
All right, then with that, as everyone kind of fades off to sleep, Bartholomew starts to carefully weave dreams for them. He's using the spell Dream, which he can touch people and he can shape their dreams as he wishes. And for some, it's really just a night of no dreams, absent anything. For others, it's from what he can gather from his short knowledge, just kind of a happy, content moment for. I guess he doesn't really know what just happened with Val, so he can't do anything with that.
Please,
but,
tell us what for each person it is.
Yes.
All right, sure. I'll do that. I'll do that.
Insightful Bartholomew, hit us with it.
Well, his dream for Mick is just a large, loud, crazy tavern with Mick on the stage, a lute in his hands, and a song coming out of his mouth that is just holding everyone in rapt attention.
So
And
reality.
and the dream is just it's song after song, encore after encore.
Gave me a dream of last Thursday night.
Is there a happy like Brynir? He's not all broody and whatnot.
Brynir's got to be in my dream. Just by the way, he's my backup
Everyone is
movie.
in your dream. Everyone is in your dream. For the first time you've ever seen it happen, Vamok is actually smiling a genuine happy smile, and not a creepy gonna kill you smile.
I imagine Rolandier with the tambourine or something. Just
He's
in the
usually
corner.
on the tambourine or the drums, or he's just dancing back there.
That's for Mick. Brynir, who Bartholomew has a bit more of a connection with, just because Bernier's always waking up early to chop the wood. You know, they've talked about his past and stuff. And he's recreating for Brynir a moment before that giant "I'm going to kill everyone I know" bit. And this is just him. He's training. What was the guard thing that you were with, Seth?
he was the captain of a squad. Like he was
His platoon.
I don't know if captain is the right thing, but he led a squad and
Squad leader.
yeah.
Well, it's recreating one of these days. He's got his squad together. They're doing their training. It's a hard, heavy day of work that Brynir is like one of his best days. You know, it's where you work hard and you feel good. And that's exactly what he's doing.
Around his Demlik babe girlfriend.
It's true.
Oh yeah.
She was part of the squad.
For Rolandier, he is crafting a dream. And what would Rolandier want to dream about? Jeez.
Having a hand.
Having a hand
Arm
again.
wrestling again.
Oh,
his
that'd be such
favorite
a
sport of
beautiful
arm
one.
wrestling.
I completely forgot that Rolandier doesn't have his right hand.
I did too until just now. Anyways, no, but please tell me, what would Bartholomew think you would want to dream?
I think Bartholomew is going to. Rolandier is dreaming of just having finished a very long journey. It was hard, it was difficult, there was tragedy, there was harsh, it was very real. But he had just arrived at the end, and just as Grandpappy always said, the last step took the longest. But he finally arrived, and he's arrived at a great tavern. The friends who are still with him are still there, and he sits down, and it's a constant feeling of I've finished. That's the entire dream. It's just the embodiment of that feeling. It's done. All right, who do I got? I got Vamok. Oh, I think Vamok might be one of those guys who just dreams of nothing. The piece is the dream.
Just give him like a dream of him subjugating the masses, and he has eyes.
He can see.
Vamok's dream is while sleeping, he finally manages to achieve that power he's been seeking. He's finally manages to hold it. Vamok sees himself creating anew according to his mind, according to what he wants. And it's just a moment for Vamok, just like Rolandier's dream embodies that feeling of being finished, I'm done. Vamok's dream really embodies that feeling of I have conquered. Val's dream is a highlight of every moment, every positive, delightful, fun, interesting moment Val has had since losing his memories about all of those people he used to love. And so it's kind of representing, yes, you have had great loss, but you've had a lot of gain. So it's the highlights of the last however much time that you have been since you've lost those memories. The good times, not the bad times. Only positive hits here.
I'm trying to think of what those would be.
Oh, please. We've been hanging out at the inn and having a good time. Grumple Stillskin Val here. It's one really long afternoon at the inn.
Okay.
And for Luna and for Cad, they are both so weighed down by trauma that Bartholomew just grants them one uninterrupted night of sleep where they can thoroughly rest and not have to worry about anything.
And then Bartholomew himself retires for the evening.
Yes, and then upon seeing his work is done, he pulls up his pack in the freezing cold, leans back, cap on forehead, and starts whistling a tune until he slowly drifts off.
As Brynir and Rolandir experience their respective dreams given to them by Mr. Bartholomew here, they seem to grow distant to these scenes. Further and further before both of you are enveloped in darkness and then suddenly light as you find yourselves in a field of bluish white luminescent waist-high grass, glowing trees, and a sky above you that is littered with 1 trillion stars and vistas of other worlds. You see each other standing not too far away, wearing simple cream-colored tunics and trousers. Your feet are bare, and there's a wind in the air, but it's pleasant.
Does this remind Rolandir of anywhere he's been before?
You've been here before.
So, becoming aware of these surroundings, Rolandir looked towards Brynir, and unsure of whether he's still just a part of, whatever dream it was he was having, or if this truly is a transfigured reality, he starts walking towards him. Brynir, good to see you here. Do you know where we are?
Not particularly.
Well, it's a place I never thought I would see again so soon, at least. This is Sindor's realm. It's where I was transported before I became Godborn. I wonder why, well, honestly, why we're both here. Not even to begin why I'm here again. And he's kind of just looking out across the distant horizons, looking for anything that might be particularly noteworthy.
As you do look out in the distance, your eyes kind of just gleam over a figure standing not 3 feet away from you. And, you kind of double take and snap to. As, of course, you see this, what looks like, again, an older version of yourself standing before you, looking between you and Brynir with a soft smile.
Rolandir's taken aback at first.
Is this your father or something?
I am not his father. I, Brynir Indrid, am Sindur. This was the form I took on when we last met. I thought it would be pleasing.
Quite. Why are we here, might I ask?
It occurred to me that it had been quite some time since we'd spoken formally. And though you have not strayed from the path I set you upon, there have been many a roadblock in your way. He starts off into this infinite field of glowing grass and just beckons for the two of you to follow him.
We do so?
Yep.
You are my Godborn, Rolandir. You serve my will, you enact my purposes, on the face of Egadon and beyond, as you've come to experience. For this world, this reality has many facets, not all of which the human eye can see in the day-to-day. I ask you now, both, and he stops abruptly and turns at you, and you feel the wind take on a chill. Be truthful with me. Your purposes with the Velors and their aspects. Your ultimate goal. What is it?
And Rolandir just staring him right back in the eyes. My purposes remain true to the task you gave me. To end the scourge upon Egadon wrought by those who seek its destruction.
Yet now I am less sure whether or not destruction is the goal of the one we spoke of.
I will admit, I haven't, at least, become far too privy of what his intentions exactly are. We've come across many foes, as you know, who have stood in our way in our attempts to gain power sufficient to face him, but it's true. I lack knowledge and understanding of exactly what his intentions are.
If he were anyone else, I would know, but you and I, Rolandir, are in the same mind in this. Air's true purposes still elude me. He moves in shadow, in secret, planning and plotting. He pulls the strings of Velor and reality alike. And, of course, mortals, moving them to war, moving them to hate. That I have no doubt about.
one question, actually, that has arisen in my mind and has caused some things to come into question. Never my true purpose, mind you, but you speak of his power over these Valors and realities. How can we be sure who is and isn't under his control? I find it harder the more we interact with them to be certain that any of them could have really our best interests in mind. Or any interest that isn't self-serving to them, quite honestly, and if that's the case, it doesn't serve Egadon.
You are right in this regard. We ethereals are by no means perfect beings. We do not espouse ourselves to be so. However, my intentions at least are pure. I seek the well-being of my creations. You are among those. And I am confident that my brothers and sisters wish the same things, especially those whom you have bonded to or have connections with in some way. I understand this Vamok has come into the service of my older sibling Tentiver, and as well, your companion Val has bonded with my older sister. More so, my youngest brother is the father directly of one of your companions, and I can assure you that he has a heavily vested interest in your success. My only admonition to you is transparency. Do not be mistaken. Though we are not perfect, that does not mean we are not gods. I can hear your thoughts. I can feel your whispers. And I can navigate the seas of your emotions more than the most skilled captain could a tumultuous ocean. I know your intentions, Relandia. There is no use in hiding them from me. Though, however cleverly you word them, their true meaning does not escape me. I implore you to use the power I have given you for the greater good. That includes the greater good, as seen by the ethereals. I have been reluctant to impose any sort of will upon you since giving you this gift. You've seen it in your friend Vamok, the influence that Tentiver has begun to sow into his very being. I have not yet done so with you. I do not wish to. It is not my way. As one of the blood and the body, I believe in autonomy. But that does not mean, Relandia, that you are not without a leash. And at this point, he takes Brynir in his hand. He puts a hand out and lays it on Brynir's shoulder. And you see these slits open up across Sindor's wrist and his hand and his fingers as tiny beads of blood come out and start to bead across the surface of Brynir's skin, finally coming toward his neck, where they seep in and then trace this deep maroon geometric figure, kind of like a choker, around his neck. And then Sindor releases him. It looks like a crimson tattoo, a bit faded into his skin in these wicked geometric shapes. This man is bonded to you. When you move against the gods, you move against him. Whatever you inflict upon them will be inflicted upon this, your faithful servant.
Rolandir just nods his head at this. Great waves of understanding kind of passing by, more like, and then he just looks back up at Sindor. You've made it quite clear that the ethereals are by no means perfect beings, and for that I would just ask some understanding as well that mortals and godborn are not either. And we too, well, I lack far greater understanding than you have. I am trying. I do merely only wish, and he kind of looks down at his stump of a wrist now where his hand was taken from him by Tentavir. I'm learning to wish only the best for Egadon, however that should come.
And it will come. I cannot return to you what my brother has taken. However, do not for an instant believe that I am not willing to take myself. You have a purpose, and you have a path. I give you the choice. You may do as you wish, but stray too far, from my own ideals, your ideals, Rolandier. And you see this line kind of open up on this choker tattoo around Brynjar's neck as if a knife had just slit across his throat. And blood starts to well up there. But it doesn't come out. It's just sort of, it's like in 0G as it just floats right outside his neck. And Brynjar is kind of moving back and forth, choking almost. Do not defy me. And then it sews itself back up, this wound on Brynjar's neck. And he takes in a deep, relieving breath. Am I clear?
Perfectly.
And then your eyes open, both yours and Brynjar's, as the two of you sit up, drenched in sweat. The 7 a.m. sun already making its way through the trees, its warmth landing on your faces as you meet each other's eyes on the next morning.